What's going on, everybody? I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School. I'm going to let you guys come into the chat. It's going to take 1 second for us to get started here. This is going to be a really great conversation. I'm really excited about it. And today I get the distinct pleasure with speaking with a young woman that I have worked with before and I've worked with for a while. And she is very intelligent and professional, and she knows what she's talking about. Her name is Miss Danica Marie. So, Danica, how are you doing today, sister?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you, Dr. Boyce?
Doing extremely well, very well, very well. I'm looking forward to this topic. I think this is a really important topic for Black people. It's something that we don't talk about enough, but it's one of, secretly, it's one of my favorite topics. Like people think I like to talk about money the most, but actually, I enjoy talking about relationships the most because I feel like life is a journey of love. Love is what sticks with you. When I look back at my life 10, 20 years ago, the first things that pop out are what was going on relationship wise. I can't always remember what was going on in school, what classes I was taking, or what job I had, how much money I made. But you always remember who you love. You always remember what your emotional experiences were. And so, so I think that what you do is actually really important, and I love it. Now, before I begin, may I ask, are you a millennial, right? Would you say
I am.
Okay. It's in your 20s. I'm not going to ask specific age unless you
I am
want to say
28. I ain't shy. I ain't scared.
that.
I'm
Well,
28. I just turned 28 February 1st, so I'm not ashamed to be a millennial, whatever.
oh no, there's no shame in that. No shame at all. But I was asking, gently because they always say don't ask a lady.
Women, yeah, I don't care. When I'm 55, I'm like, I'm 55. I'll be 56 in 2 days. I'm not scared.
Okay, well that's cool. Well, I love that. I love that. Okay, so you also you talk a lot about relationships. I know you do stuff on FlyNewBeingQueenTV.com, and you give a lot of really interesting commentary on a lot of topics. You cover everything, and you hit the conversation honestly, and a lot of people really appreciate your advice. So, what fascinates you about talking about love and relationships and things like that?
I think what fascinates me the most is how it is a reflection, especially within the Black community. We don't have a lot of family structure. And so growing up and seeing that, how I pretty much came from a broken home, I always wanted to hone in on that and see what can I do to make that a reality within our community, to make us have strong foundations as far as raising our children, making sure that our homes were secure in that way, because you don't see that a lot growing up, especially within the Black community. So that really made me want to do something about it, and it actually inspired me in a lot of ways to try to come up with some things that I felt would be the most beneficial for us to talk about, especially. But really, I just like to help everybody. But really, growing up within the Black community and seeing a whole lot of baby daddies and baby mamas and broken homes, it really just made me want to bring that together and make that something that is the norm. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Well, it is funny. I remember the time that you came to my attention was when you did this really great poem and you were talking about
Rich people, poor clothes.
yeah, and you were kind of like giving a type of advice that I thought was really beneficial, but it's not mainstream. It's not the stuff, because a lot of the message is just do you and YOLO and just do it, raise your kids however you want. And you were really calling out you were calling out parents and kind of saying like, look, your kids, I remember you saying something like they dress, they dress fine, fly as hell, but they dumb as hell. And you didn't say it like that. You said it was a poem. You said it poetically. Yeah. But you know what I'm talking about? Like what was it that drove you to kind of have that perspective? You almost sounded frustrated.
I was because when you grow up and you see our priorities being messed up like that, you see people out here who are so. For instance, growing up, I was always the lame, quiet, smart girl, right? And so they would kind of tease me for that, like, Danica, you just so smart, you just so lame, you don't got this, you don't got that. And those same kids were the same ones that had, you know, the Jordans on, and they had, you know, all the name brands. And I didn't really have that. I mean, I think I had some FUBU. I don't know. Which FUBU? Hey, for us, by us, okay? Represent. But I mean, I got teased in that way. And now I was like, well, you have all the latest clothes and the flyest gear, but your grades are not, you know, adding up. And you look at those same people now and they really don't amount to much. So that just really, you know, helped me to put in perspective what's really more important. Is how you dress more important than what you have retained in your mind? Or is your materialistic values more important than, you know, your standards and your morals and your values in that way? And so that just really made me want to hit that message home more, because I feel like our priorities, especially being millennials and then the generation after us, oh my God, I mean, it's ridiculous. So I just, being a millennial, I'm sorry, and being in a younger generation, I kind of wanted to shed a light on that for the people that are in my age bracket and younger, to help us to be like, you know what, she's making a little bit of sense. Maybe my priorities are a little bit misconstrued. And so that we can get back on the right path that we need to be on.
Well, you know, I liked what you were saying, you know, and I didn't know if it was because, you know, because I was from a different generation or what. Like it wasn't like my generation was perfect, but it's almost like, you know, you expect progress. You think that one generation is going to be better than the last one, but it wasn't like that. It was like wait a minute, we got dumber. You know, like we went from dumb to dumber and dumb, you know, dumber. You know what I mean? Like we literally just digressed, and you're like, damn, you know. Even if you look at, you know, like we're so heavy, it's really interesting how we're heavily influenced by hip hop, and really it's almost like you can look at the trajectory of the mentality of the community and correlate it, connect it to the trajectory of hip hop. You know, with hip hop, you still have, you know, the brilliant artists and, you know, the J. Cole types and the Kendrick Lamar types and stuff like that. But then you got, like, you know, when I listen to the Migos and I listen to like a lot of mumble or Kodak Black or something like that, like I really feel sorry for like the kids that really relate to that, because either you're pretending to be as dumb as they are, or you really are like. And, you know, matching them mentally, and I'm not even making fun of them. I'm not making fun of them.
I know,
because we, you know, there's a reason for that, right? It's a system that builds that. They, you know, like my boy, he's in my age group, but he was a big rapper back in the day. He had a group called Arrested Development. You ever hear about Arrested Development? His name was Speech, and they had a song. The most famous song was Tennessee. It's like Tennessee. Anybody remember that song? Lord, I really been real stressed, down and out, losing ground. Oh, you know what? That's what I'm gonna send you.
If I heard it, I would know.
If you hear the song, you're gonna love it, and that'll be my contribution to your generation to introduce.
Oh, please, we need as much help as possible.
You will love it, I guarantee. Tell her she's gonna love it. She's gonna love it.
Let me know. I don't think I heard that one.
And he did a documentary called The Nigga Factory. And he basically was arguing like they produce that nigga mentality, like almost like a factory produces cars. You know, you manufacture, you know, like inferior, not gonna say inferior, suboptimal black people, meaning black people who are not reaching our full potential. You know, like we, you know, like we're not fully melanated in terms of what we're meant to be. Like we know what we're meant to be. Like people who really know who we are know how great we are, how brilliant we are, how strong we are, how capable we are, all these things. And you have a lot of us that when you don't have that confidence and you haven't unlocked the superpower of your melanin, then you can sometimes think that you're something other than what you are, right? So I see these as just people that this is identity theft. You know, they stole from them what they were supposed to be. So I don't make fun. I'm not trying to make fun of the generation. I just feel bad for them because I don't think that there's any benefit you get when you go through life, a step behind, you know, getting high all the time or caring about materialism all the time, and you know, and all of that. Like, so what are your thoughts on that in terms of, you know, what you see and what drives you to even confront this? Because I know I'm sure you get haters that say that you're
every day. They don't like my red hair, don't have like my tattoos, you name it. They got a problem with something I got going on. But really, I think it's by design, honestly. Like you pretty much what you were saying. It's by design, and I feel like that kind of motivates me to try to do it a different way because like you said, I don't want to make fun of anybody. You know, it's really by design. It's kind of programmed into us and instilled into us to be that way. So that really gives me my extra motivation to really do something about it and turn over those new leaves, because a lot of us are just ignorant. We just don't know. We don't know any better. All we know is what they show us on TV. All we know is, you know, what goes around in our community. And then when you are talking about some real stuff, it's like, man, you don't know what the hell you talking about. At the end of the day, we got to survive. And you on that lame shit. You know, that's what they do. So I just really try to find different ways to, and reach them where they are too. You know what I mean? Try to speak their language. A lot of people don't try to meet anybody where they are. It's just like you're talking down to them. And I don't want to do that. Am I going to say stuff that is going to ruffle your feathers? Probably so. But I think it's going to ultimately help you in the long run.
Mm-hmm. Well, everybody who's listening, I'm speaking to Miss Danica Marie. She is from FlyNewBeanQueenTV.com, but also she's all over Facebook. And you can spell her name right there on the screen. If you're watching on drboycetv.com, you can see her name. So spell it right when you look it up. She does really good commentary. I know, I bet everybody misspells
it. They be butchering.
And everybody who's on Facebook, I'm actually share a screenshot so you guys can see how to spell her name so you can follow her on Facebook. And we're talking about relationships. In particular, that's where we wanted to start the conversation, but we actually ended up kind of talking about children, which are the products of our relationships. Right. And everybody hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please hit the thumbs up button and make sure you subscribe. So let me ask you this question. When you have in your experience in terms of your research on relationships and stuff like that, we know that there's a challenge in this country, all throughout the country, when it comes to keeping relationships together. In our community, we have 75, almost 80% of our kids without both parents in the house. And a lot of us spend a lot of time figuring out who to blame. You know, is it the mama's fault? Is it the daddy's fault? Well, sometimes it's the mama's fault. Sometimes it's the daddy's fault. Sometimes it's both of their damn fault. Because, last time I checked, two people have to get together and make a baby, right? Two people work together to create that chaos, right? So, so without putting blame on anybody, though, what are some factors that you've seen in terms of reasons that relationships come to an end?
Come to an end?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Come to an end. Mm-hmm.
I think because we're just simply in it for all the wrong reasons. We're looking for that excitement factor, and and once the thrill is over, it's like, so is the relationship. But at the end of the day, we're not really putting in that same amount of effort and energy. It really is on some surface value type stuff. We're looking for a quick orgasm. We're looking for somebody that looks good or somebody that has money. We're not really going deeper into figuring out who is this person that I am going to lay down with. We're just hopping in the sheets like, well, you sexy, you fine, you got some money, so let's get it popping. And then we're creating these lives and we're bringing them into these situations where it is unstable. Because we are unstable. We're mentally unstable, emotionally unstable, and we're creating unstable children and unstable environments. And I feel like that is what ultimately is bringing all these relationships to a fast end, an abrupt end. It's not even that we're trying to build lasting relationships. It really is just like one night stand type situations. Like, okay, I see you, you see me, I think you cute, you think I'm cute, let's get it in. We're not really trying to build solid foundations. And I feel like that is ultimately the problem on both ends.
Well, let me ask you about this then. Speaking on that, I just saw a story the other day about Lamar Odom. Did you see that, the NBA player who was married to the Kardashian?
I know of him. I didn't see the article. What did it say?
Yeah, he was talking about having a sex addiction. And I guess
I hear about that.
He's trying to sell a book, and he said that he has sex with over 2,000 women. And of course, he's like, now, I'm a mathematician, so I did the math in my head and I said, okay, so 2,000 women over, say, a 20-year period is, can somebody tell me how many women per year that is? That's 100 women a year, right? Now, let's say it's not over a 20-year period. Let's say he got started having sex a little earlier. So it's 25 years, whatever it is. That's still, you're still talking about 70, 80, 90 women a year.
Wow.
Now,
That's a lot of vaginas.
that's a trip because a lot of people don't even have sex with that many people in a lifetime. And so you process that. Okay, so if you're talking about even just 60 a year, what's that, like 5 per month? So she's talking about 5 to 10 women a month, right? Right. Which the interesting thing is you wonder where that comes from and why, who thought that was okay. And the reason I say that is because we know he ain't the only one. Like, he ain't the only one. Most people just don't.
That's normal. They're like, that's it? Only 2,000?
Right. I mean, I've known guys who talk about 300-400,
Wow.
and I've especially when men get a little bit of money, a little bit of status, like you're trained to believe that, okay, it's supposed to be jump off heaven. Like, all the women, suddenly you become this attractive thing, and all these women, I guess, for whatever reason, want to lay with you. And my thing is, I've never tried to be judgmental about that, because I think I'm fascinated with love and sex. I've read stuff, a lot of articles and books about it, because that's what makes us human,
Yeah, I mean, who don't like love and sex? I mean,
exactly, right. But it's kind of like, how do you have that free expression sexually while at the same time, remembering, the seriousness of it.
right.
I mean, every time you lay down with a person, you're opening the keys to the universe, meaning like you're opening the keys to a whole timeline of possibilities that can occur because you have a human life.
Yeah, and you're exchanging energies and all kind of stuff. So it's really scientific when it comes to sex and all of that. It's not as simple as we like to think that it is. And I feel like that's what we need to be more careful about, who we are laying down with. I mean, it's no way in the world that you have sat down with each and every person, if you have a number like 2,000 women, and actually got to know them on a level that you could actually build with this woman. You're just you don't know what kind of women you laying down at that point. You just like, I don't care. So we have to really be mindful. And again, I don't like to be judgmental either. A lot of women attack me, especially women. They like, well, you can't judge us, and we can do what the hell we want to do with our bodies, and this, that, and the other. And again, I respect it, but I just like to encourage people to be mindful about who they are laying down with, because like you said, you could potentially be creating another life. So don't you want to create a life with somebody that you do feel like is worthy enough to create a life with? That person is going to essentially be raising your son or raising your daughter. So be careful about that. Do you want a quote unquote hoe or a quote unquote street dude that don't give a damn about nothing but themselves to be raising your children? Are we thinking about that, or are we only thinking about the orgasm? And a lot of us are not thinking about the long-term effects of laying down with just anybody or randoms every day or every night of the week. And we just like YOLO, and that's not healthy on a physical level, on an emotional level, and then ultimately for your children, that's not going to be healthy for them either. Now, hopefully you are wrapping it up. Okay, I hope if you are out here, doing your thing, that you're wrapping your thing up. But if you're not, I mean, just really be, careful when it comes to laying down with different people. If you are a person that's just like, what, I only live once, please make sure that you are at least being careful and cautious if you are, having sex with a whole lot of different people. Me, myself, Dr. Boyce, I don't get down like that. I never have, never will, but I'm not gonna knock nobody that is. I'm just going to always encourage everybody to be healthy and be mindful and leave it at that.
All right. Well, everybody, if you just came in, I'm speaking with Miss Danica Marie from FlyNewBeingQueenTV.com. We're talking about love relationships and children, and how all that plays out and what causes relationships to come to an end, as well as the challenges that we run into as a community when it comes to love. I want to say thank you to PM Billion. Thank you for your donation. He says my new book, his book is called 100 Text Messages from a President. Okay, so everybody go check out that book, 100 Text Messages from a President. Anybody else who has a product you want to promote, if you throw something in there and do the super chat, then I will definitely shout out your book or shout out your business or whatever the case may be. So yeah, Danica, I think that what bothered me about the Lamar Odom story is that, sex and love are super powerful. They're super deep. It's like a deep well of possibilities that can come out of that choice, right? And if a well is 1,000 feet deep and you're only digging through to the surface, you're gonna miss everything that's down below the surface. So I think that our decision when it comes to like who we sleep with, or who we fall in love with, who we marry, it should be a very deep decision, right? It's supposed to be something where you dig to the bottom of the well and you look at all the scenarios, all the possibilities, take your time, right? But we don't. We look about 2 feet in and we say, okay, I'm going all the way in, right? And again, it's your right to do that. But the problem is that when you go dived in that well and there's stuff in the bottom that you didn't know was there because you was only looking at the surface, don't come expect people to feel sorry for you. Like, oh, my baby daddy did this to me, blah, 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 or oh, my baby's mama is a blah, 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 blah. Well, I mean, what? I don't know what to say. Maybe you shouldn't have picked them. But then again, though, that's a mistake everybody can make, right? Like I had a child out of wedlock when I was 18. And, and it was a complicated process, very difficult. But I can at least say that I didn't have no more babies like that. I said, no, I'm not doing that no more. I don't pay all that child support. That's a motherfucker. So I think that, when you think about like that Lamar Odom story, what it does is it reminds me of this bad stereotype that is fed to black men, that if you get a little money, you get a little status, you're supposed to make yourself vulnerable to any pretty girl that comes along. And there's stories out there. You got Cardi B type women out there who will get you naked and rob you blind. They'll rob your ass blind, pick up drugs, had sex with a tranny, got your butthole's hurting. Like Cardi told stories like that. And she's not the only one. So what I just tell men, like, look, I'm not gonna tell you not to do whatever you want to do, but just know, like, there are people that will take advantage of any weakness you have. Most great men in leadership positions who've been taken down, a large percentage of them were taken down because they did not know how to control the sex organs. So you just say like, oh yeah, just put a big butt and a smile in front of him, and he gonna let the whole world fall apart. He gonna, it don't matter. He's CEO, it is president of a country. It don't matter. He'll violate national security protocol to go get an ass. And the question becomes, how do you understand as a man that you got to have balance, you got to have some kind of discipline. And then but same thing is true for women, right? We've seen women fall in love with men for the dumbest reasons. I ain't gonna lie. And men, we're dumb too. I'd say, in fact, I'll go ahead and claim it that we're dumber in certain areas, but I've just seen women where it's like I'll use a personal example. When I got a little bit of status, a little bit of fame and stuff, and a little bit of money, I suddenly became far more handsome than I used to be. I didn't understand it. I was like, oh,
that money make you sexy.
Yeah, when you get a little bit of money, a little bit of status, you become extremely handsome. All your jokes are really funny, and you are an incredibly fascinating person, right? That
you gotta watch them women though, boys. You gotta watch them kind of women.
Right, exactly. So, but here's the thing, right? Like I'm a scientist, so I think about everything. So I can think about times, years ago when I would sit there and there'd be some woman I could tell she was kind of feeling me, and I'd be thinking, wow, this is fascinating. I could go home with you right now and do whatever I wanted. You would trust me. You probably give me the keys to your house. And you don't know nothing about me. Like, I could be a rapist. I could be a murderer. I could have 10,000 sexually transmitted diseases. I could be a child molester. I could be all kinds of horrible things. And you don't know because you've only known me for an hour or a day, and so, I think that, so to me, if I was giving game to anybody or just sharing thoughts, I would just say to people that there are predators out here, male and female. There are women who know that they can get a man just like that by batting the eyelashes or wearing the right outfit or whatever, who will take you for everything. And there are men who just go from one woman to the next, run the same damn game on autopilot because they know all the women fall for it. And so I don't even know, that's not even really a question, really. It's more like a comment in terms of, the fact that, when you're talking about something like that, like who you link up with, that's your life. That's the biggest investment. I talk about investing money. Money ain't shit compared to the value of your future. Like your life is worth 100 times more than any amount of money you'll ever have. So I find that when people make that investment of their life, like who they marry or who they sleep with or who they do spend their time with, they don't spend as much time thinking about that.
No, it's sad. They said the most major decisions that you're going to make in your life is who you have a child by and who you marry. And sadly, we are not thinking about those impacts of those most important things. When it comes to who we marry and who we sleep with and have babies with, we just we don't give a damn. But when it comes to everything else, we thinking 2 and 3 times about that. You mentioned investing. How many times? I ain't investing into that. But then you can go stick your penis in this woman and get her knocked up, and you can go bust it open for this man and get knocked up by him, and you ain't questioning that. So it's just like our priorities again are just messed up. They're out of alignment. And we really need to start taking into consideration how those things impact us or will impact us in our futures. But we're not doing that. Again, it could be by design, or it could just be the way that we're brought up, or like you said, men are taught that the more women that you have, the more macho you are. And women on the other hand, we're taught that the more men that you sleep with, the more of a hoe you are. So it just really, we have conflicting things that we are taught. And I just really want us to get on the same accord. That's why I take relationships so serious, because I do want to bridge the gap between men and women, more specifically Black men and Black women. I feel like a lot of Black women, we can become angry and bitter based upon those poor experiences that we did have coming up dealing with Black men. And again, I use the word men very loosely. Okay. I personally find that we call those type of men niggas. Okay. But we're going to leave that over there. But I feel like we do need to bridge that gap and stop holding the next man accountable or the next woman accountable for the mistakes of the last person that we were with. You know what I mean? And really find some kind of balance so that we can move forward. It's so many things that we need to work on within our relationships, especially within the Black community, till it's ridiculous. And that's why I really just want us to find, something that we can at least agree upon. It's like we're always arguing, we're always fighting, and we always got something to nitpick. What can we agree on and build upon? That's what we need to do. That's what we need to bring it back to at the end of the day.
Well, let me ask you this, Danica. I saw you did a video one time. If I'm not mistaken, I could have swore you did a video that was on something related to how to talk to your kids about sex, or maybe something like that. Maybe I did. Maybe I made it up. But let me.
Maybe that's a good conversation, though. I may have to write.
Well, if you haven't done it, then you should definitely do it.
LaNewBeingQueen.com, Danica Marie Dope Discussion. We're gonna have that conversation. All right.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, it's called Danica Marie Dope Discussions, by the way. That's so you can also Google that and find it. But the reason I bring that up is because I wonder if some of the bad decisions we make in sex and relationships is because in a lot of our households, we don't even talk about it. A lot of kids get their sex education from wherever it happens to come from. Sometimes for a young girl, her sex education teacher might be her boyfriend, which is a very bad sex education teacher. Like that, you don't want to learn, like you get the wrong one. You don't want that person to be the person that teaches you what sex is supposed to be like, because you might run into, a bad situation. But I'm almost wondering, it's almost like the money thing. And I've always been fascinated by how love and money connect. In fact, I wrote a book years ago called Financial Lovemaking. And I talked all about love and money and how all that links together. But and it was fascinating to me, how I think that because we don't talk about sex and we don't talk about money, we make bad decisions as adults when it comes to sex and when it comes to money. What's your take on that theory?
we're not talking about it, like you said. And then again, goes back to my research, which inspired my topic on Monday over on flynubianqueen.com and Danica Marie Dope Discussions, as far as 5 ways that money can ruin your marriage. It was just fascinating to me that we want to be in these long-term committed relationships, or we aspire to be married, and yet we're not talking about money in our households or growing up, when money is one of the leading causes of divorce. So how can you sit there and say you want to have a long-lasting relationship or a long-lasting marriage, but you're not taking the time out to study what are the leading causes of divorce? And then money was at the top of the list. And then upon my research, like you just said, the reason why money can ruin our relationships is because we are simply not talking about it, period. It's not something that we introduce to our children. Sex too, we're not talking to our children about sex. And me personally, growing up, my parents never talked to me about sex. I had to just learn on my own. The most I learned about sex was from sexual education class back in school. And I just personally instilled kind of my own values within myself when it came to sex. I never wanted any man or anybody for that matter to have bragging rights over me. So I always just like, nah, you can't hit this, type thing. But yeah, we're not talking about it. So we have to get in the habit of talking to our children about money and about sex and about relationships, because a lot of our relationships are failing because of money and because we're having sex with all the wrong people, and we're bringing in, children into this world where our homes are already broken before they even arrive. So we have to get in the habit of talking about it. That's the first thing. First and foremost, we have to get to communication. Start talking about money to your children. That should be the first thing that your children learn about. Not no damn iPad, not no iPhone, none of that. We should be talking about money. Money is going to sustain your family. Money is going to sustain your life. Like that's the foundation. We have to start talking about things. We're just brushing over it. We think that talking about money is somehow going to, I don't know, start an argument, start a fight. And a lot of the times it's because we don't want to expose ourselves. We don't want to expose that we are really irresponsible when it comes to money. So I don't want to talk about it. Let's leave that alone. Let's just focus on the lovey-dovey aspect of the relationship and leave that, for the birds. But that lovey-dovey stuff, like I said, is not going to feed you. That lovey-dovey stuff is not going to provide you shelter. What is your credit score like? We're not asking those kind of questions. Do you know how to budget? We're not talking about that. We need to start teaching our children at a young age about businesses, about credit scores, about saving and investing, and how to even make your own money without having to be an employee. What we are taught growing up, okay, what is being communicated to us is that you need to go to school and find you a good paying job and retire and this, that, and the third. Well, now that's not even an option. You can't just go and go to school and get you a degree. Like, they look at those degrees like they ain't nothing. My husband has 2 degrees and he's hard pressed to find a decent paying job. So, I mean, what can you say now? And then again, that retirement and everything, that's looking very obsolete for our generations to come. You can't retire anymore. So you really start, especially within the Black homes, we have to start teaching our children at an early age how to do for self. Talk to your children about money. Talk to your children about relationships and how they correlate. That's the only way. We're not doing that.
Well, by the way, everybody, by the way, I want everybody to know who just came in. I'm talking to Danica Marie from Danica's Dope Discussions. And is it Danica Marie Dope Discussions or Danica?
Yep. Danica Marie Dope Discussions.
Danica Marie Dope Discussions. And also she's on flynubianqueentv.com. And we're talking about why relationships don't last, particularly financial reasons. Do me a favor, wherever you are, hit the thumbs up button. If you're on Facebook, please take 1 second. Please share this video to your page. If you're on YouTube, please hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the share, like, subscribe button. Also, don't forget this podcast is now on iTunes. So go download us on iTunes. You can listen to us anywhere. And if you live in Philadelphia, I'll be in Philadelphia in a few days on May 19th. If you want to learn more, go to drboycephiladelphia.com. I'm doing an all-day investing seminar. We're going to talk about how to become an investor and how to build your family empire and all kinds of stuff that I guarantee will change your life. So, Danica, speaking on that issue, let me tell you something that I'm thinking about too, in terms of just, it's weird to me that, when I first started trying to do, public scholarship and talking about money and investing, I had a lot of people tell me, Black people don't want to learn nothing about money. They don't want to learn finances. They want world star hip hop. They want celebrities. They want silly stuff. Childish stuff. And really, to be truthful, I really kind of wondered if they were right, because I had a lot of friends that didn't care much about talking about money. They talked about money when they needed it, or when it came to getting a job, but it wasn't like anybody had an interest in investing. So I was real pressed to figure out ways to make it interesting and to connect it to everyday life. And fortunately, because I've studied it so much, I see it everywhere. Like it's like the Matrix. Remember the Matrix? When Neo finally figured out the Matrix and he saw the Matrix and he could just move it. That's how I look at it. I see the money in everything now. And when you see that, it allowed me to like if I would go on a show like The Breakfast Club, you could bring up a rapper and a song, and I could see the money in it, and connect it back to okay, this is why that rapper, this is why he's in rehab right now and divorces, because blah 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 happened to the money, right? Everything so much in our lives connects to money. Money is like food. Money is like oxygen. Money is like the thing that can either help you have a pleasant, comfortable life, or it can make your life miserable to the point where you can't sleep. Money can make your wife go have sex with another man sometimes, not in every case, but seriously, there's studies that show that women are less attracted to their men if their men cannot provide. And ladies, if you agree, if you've seen this before, or men, if you've ever seen this before, say yes. Tell me you understand where I'm coming from, because why do you think men just are naturally wired to grow up wanting to be financially successful? They want to be the man. I want to be in the NBA, NFL. I want to be a rap star. What's first thing rappers rap about? Look at how much money I got. I got bands, big pictures on a private jet, holding up $100 bills like it's a cell phone, right? You're doing all that because that's connected to your ability to reproduce. All you are, and when you do that, is you're like a peacock in the wilderness that is showing how big his feathers are, how big and colorful his feathers are, so the female peacocks will want to come have sex with him. Because all throughout the animal kingdom, amongst mammals, females want to reproduce with the alpha male. The way they show that they're the alpha, one way is showing that you're financially strong and financially secure. So when a man is unable to provide financially, then he's the opposite of the alpha male. He becomes, the YouTube term is dusty beta male. Right? and don't know women want a dusty beta male. TLC said it back in the day. No, I don't want no scrubs. I played that song for the 12-year-old in our house, right? And I said, we're gonna play some old school, so y'all know what a real good women's group sounds like. And so we listened to their music for a while. Then I said, let's play TLC. We played Scrubs. Yesterday, I heard her walking through the house singing, no, I don't want no scrubs. A scrub is a guy who can't get no love from me, right? What did Beyonce say? Remember that song? Can't pay my telephone bills, gotta pay my automobile. I don't think you do. So
you and me are through. That's
remember?
right.
And then you go back. Ain't nothing going on but the rent, right? So basically, it's like, for men and for women, money is extremely important. And the women that pay attention to money, they're not all just gold diggers. There are gold diggers out there. I did actually draw a line to help people understand the difference. But I really believe most people want, especially most women want a man that provides security. Security is deeply linked to money. It's not just money. It's your ability to solve the problem that is at hand. And in many cases, in most of our households, a lot of our problems can be solved with some extra money in the bank. A lot of the problems that occur, your flat tire, got to go pay for a new tire. Roof needs fixing. Ain't got a place to live. Can't get the rent paid. A lot of the problems come back to money. So when a man either has money and or shows the ability, ambition, and intelligence to go get money if necessary, that naturally makes him a more appealing mating option for the female. Like, and that's what, to me, that's what I was raised on by my dad as far as what real manhood is. My father used to tell me stories, and I would be quiet because I'd like to get your take on it. But he said that when he was young, and my grandfather was not a rich man, he's an entrepreneur, but he was a hustler. He got it done for his family, right? And so my grandmother would sit at home, she was a stay-at-home mom, the old school, and took care of the kids. And he said, I would just see my mother tell my father, she would say, we need $50 by 5 o'clock today. And he would say, okay, I'm gonna go take care of it. And he would go out and somehow he would come back with $50. They had no idea.
Okay.
Right. They had no idea how he got it done. They just knew that he got it done. They knew he delivered it. So when I'm talking to young guys or whatever, I'm always telling them, like, these skills, problem solving skills, things like that, that's really important, because what that does is that makes the people around you have faith in you. Yeah. Confidence in you. And when they have confidence in you, they feel secure.
Right.
Women feel rattled and insecure. They feel rattled and insecure when they know they got a man who can't solve the problem, or a man who's too weak or too scared or too unskilled or ain't got the resources. Right. So definitely, we start from the male side. Understanding money is important. Now, I think women have to understand money, because you have a lot of examples of financial abuse, where a man will control your life over money. And I teach my girls about money, because I'm like, look, if you have your own money, then you can pick from a broader range of men without having to chase a man just because he's the one that can help you get the bills paid.
Right.
So what are your thoughts on what I just said?
Well, I think what you just said was very on point, and it was actually very interesting, because upon my research, when I was doing the research for how money and marriage and all of that correlates, and it popped up with the top 5 things that came along with divorce. You kind of hit on it a little bit as far as the infidelity. Infidelity was one of the top causes of divorce. And what was very interesting is how all of those top 5 reasons for divorce, kind of like I said in the beginning, it kind of ties back into money. People cheat because, hey, I have a lot of money, which grants me a lot of access to a lot of women. Or it could be your woman cheating on you because, it's a man over there who has more money than you. And now she want to see what that's like. And then another reason as far as divorce was lack of commitment. That can be tied back into money, because we are not committing to being disciplined or being responsible with our money. Then another reason for divorce was too much conflict and arguing. A lot of us argue over money. Another thing was we get married too young. And again, if you're too damn young, chances are you don't have no money. So again, it goes back to money. A lot of it, and those were the top 5 reasons as to why we get divorced, and a lot of it goes right back into money. And what was also very interesting to what you said was how the men were able to go out there and get the money and, provide for their families. That dynamic has very much so changed. And again, I think it's because we grow up in single parent households, where now we have to take on that role of being the mother and the father, because there's a lot of single mothers out here. And the young guys, they're growing up seeing that their mother are the providers. She's taking care of everything, and she's became the breadwinner. And now you are essentially growing up as a young man, thinking and being programmed, because again, I think it's by design. Okay, that's how they set it up for us to be. The welfare is your man, girl, and if you got that man in that house, you ain't getting what you need. So it kind of programs the woman to be the breadwinner. And then when you have sons growing up in that household, and he witnesses his mother being the sole provider, when he grows up, now he's looking for a woman that's going to be like his mom. Yeah, I need somebody that's going to take care of me. And so it's just one of those things to where we have to get back to being like, your grandfather and, men from that generation, and get the family structure and the family dynamic back in order, because it is out of whack. And it's all because, we don't have 2 family households. We don't know what it's like to have a man say, you know what, I'm going to put on my thinking cap and go out here and get this $50. And guess what? I'm not gonna have it to you by 5 o'clock. I'm gonna have it to you by 4:59. And it's like, okay, cool. But nowadays we just live in like this microwave society to where we want things quick, fast, and in a hurry. We don't want to have to sit down and think of ways to generate money. We'd rather just go and clock in somewhere, McDonald's, or maybe hustle, maybe steal, maybe kill. We don't give a damn. We just gonna go out here and do what we can. And if somebody can take care of me, then that's even better. But we do have to get back to, like you said, with your grandfather being able to go out here by any means necessary and provide for your family in a righteous way. Okay, hopefully we're not out here robbing and stealing and killing. But I mean, just, figuring out different ways to maybe start your own business and get your own money so that you can provide for your family, so that your woman does have some kind of security and belief in you. We want, as a man, I feel like a lot of men, you guys desire for your woman to be able to count on you. And when you don't feel like your woman is counting on you, then you feel emasculated and all kind of shit. Now she's like, well, I got to go out here and get my own $50. And we don't want that. So we really have to get back to just going out here and striving the best way that we can, the most righteous way possible, and stop the divide. We have too much division going on within our households, and it's really destructive. And it's teaching our sons to, want to be these macho men who just want to use women and pimp them out. And once I do get this money by becoming a rapper or whatever, then I'm gonna have all the hoes. Then you have the women on the other end to where it's like, well, I guess I can just settle for any piece of a man. I'm gonna just go out here and do whatever I want to do and do what I have to do, rather, to make sure that I can provide for my family. And now she's taking care of a grown man that, should be helping her out. So we just really have to get back into, like those men and those previous generations from the past, to where we do have some kind of structure going on, because it's just all out of whack for real.
Yes. Well, everybody, I'm talking to Miss Danica Marie from Danica Marie Dope Discussions on FlyNubianQueenTV.com. I'll please hit the thumbs up button. Everybody, real quick, take 1 second. Please hit that thumbs up button so that you can support the channel and let people know that we're doing our thing. And also, just don't forget, also, this is the tribe of intelligent Black people. So if you want to support intelligent Black media all throughout the world and help our community elevate, then please go to intelligentblackpeople.com. That's intelligentblackpeople.com. I want to say thank you. I see Stacy Doe and Ryan Doro. I see your donations to the platform. I appreciate that. We will invest your money in the community in a good way. So thank you so much for that. Now, what I'll say, and I guess this can be my last comment. I'm gonna let you get the last word, Danica. When I look at what I've seen in terms of the trend and the way it's been going with us as an oppressed minority, we're not a minority, but we are a group of people that have dealt with oppression. I don't like the term minority. That term just bothers me. But as an oppressed group, basically, when you oppress a group, you definitely don't want the men in that group to be strong. You want the men to be weak. Right. Because the strong man's the one that's gonna fight you. And you back even during slavery, that the strongest Black man was an endangered species. They were gonna try to take him out or break him down in front of everybody and everything else. So what really exists in America, for the most part, to me, is you have matriarchy scenarios where the women have been forced to become masculinized because of the conditions that they're in, and the men have become feminized. Mm-hmm. Because, as you mentioned, the little boy grows up and there's no man around, and he's watching his mama, and he's watching his mama be the mother and the father. Mm-hmm. Now his sister, she has a role model, but she's also herself learning how to be masculinized by watching her mother be the mother and the father. But she has a little more guidance, which I think is why you see Black women, they're not as lost, I think, as the men in certain areas, at least when it comes to education and stuff like that. Like Black women are starting businesses and going to school and everything else and really doing their thing. But what's interesting to me, and this is what I believe this to the day I die, is even though we know the Black woman can be as masculine as she needs to be to handle her business, the strong Black woman kind of stereotype, which actually I think is true in the sense that, when I look at the women in my family, they're all very strong, and I admire that. Even though she's been masculinized, I don't think that masculine. I think she liked many of the women. I've seen a lot of women who are like, yeah, I can do it all by myself, but I really don't want to,
Right.
you know. And then also the men, even though the men maybe have found comfort being feminized, I don't think they really want to be feminized. All of them. I think a lot of them are like they just don't. Maybe the self-esteem isn't there, the confidence isn't there, so they don't really know what to do, and they're just kind of stuck, you know. And it creates these bad, awkward relationships because both of you are living outside of your nature.
Exactly.
So she's trying to be the man, and she ain't a man. And
Right.
you trying to be the woman, and you ain't a woman. You don't look good in high heels, and got a penis. So seriously, and the reason I'd say that it's important to understand this about what's natural and what's not is because, you know, what I just said would probably offend a lot of people. There are a lot of, you know, a lot of white folks out here in particular teaching our people that no, that's perfectly natural. That's perfectly fine for the woman to be the masculine one. The gender doesn't matter. Bullshit. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you a story that will help everybody understand why gender does make a difference. Y'all might have heard me tell this story, but this story really affected me. I was running down a path. I don't know. Have y'all heard my story about the goose? Some of y'all who watch me every day heard my goose story. But this story just blew my mind, Danica. I'm running down this run path with Alicia, and we saw this goose in the middle, like just standing in the middle of the path. And it ain't no big deal. It's just a bird, right? We think if we get closer, he's gonna fly away, whatever.
Those things are gangster.
This goose did not move. This goose stood, right? And he's like, what you want? You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, okay, I'm about to run around this goose. And he kept sticking his tongue out. He was like, he keeps sticking his tongue out at me, like he's looking at me like he wants to fight me. And he's staring at me like I move this way, his eyes move with me. I move that way. His eye, you know, he's like, I got my eye on you. You ain't, you know, and he was looking at me. He wasn't looking at her. It was mano a mano. Like he knew I was the male and she was the female, right? So then I was like, okay, well, let me just take another step, see what happens. I took another step. His feathers like popped up, like in a real aggressive position. And I said, this goose act like he really want to fight me. Like, what? And then I took another step, right? It was on a gravel road. So every time you step, you could hear it, the gravel move. I took another step and his neck like stretched real long. Like he was, and she said, you better not take no more steps because you're going to. And the thing is, I don't know nature. I failed biology class in high school, so I don't know what geese can do. Animals surprise your ass, right? They'll come out with some shit that you didn't know about. Oh yeah, a goose can pluck your eyes out, you know. Right? So I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna fuck with this goose because he seems serious about his territory right now. And do you know why he was doing that? I looked over to the side and I saw there was a female goose and she was sitting on some eggs. And the reason he was aggressive with me is because he was protecting his woman as she was about to hatch his children. And he was like, I will fight you to the death. You will not fuck with me today because this is my woman. These are my kids. And she's sitting over there looking like she don't even know what's going on. She's just relaxed. She's like, I got a strong man to, you know, protect me, you know, and so she's not worried about a thing because her man's standing guard.
Right. He knew his role. He knew his role.
Yes, and it wasn't like the male was over there with the eggs and the woman was out there getting all buck with me. It was the male doing the male's role and the female doing the female's role. And the thing is, nobody taught that to the goose. Nobody told him that this is what you're supposed to do, or this is what a man's supposed to do. He didn't go to college. Didn't nobody give him no instructions. God gave him instructions in his fucking DNA. Like that was built in him to know as the man, there's a role I'm supposed to play. So don't you dare tell me, I don't buy any of this nonsense when people act like, oh, well, all these gender roles are made up by society. No, they're not. That's how that's the way it's supposed to be. And we are out of alignment with the nature that God put inside of us.
I absolutely agree. And it's like, when you do start speaking like that, you're going to get attacked. Like the hardest. When I say, you know, men are supposed to provide and protect and women are supposed to be nurturing and do this and take care of the household and all of that, you get attacked. It's like, no, we can do what the hell we want to do. It's mainly the feminists, y'all. And you know, if you're a feminist, more power to you. But come on, y'all, we have to stop trying to make it seem like these gender roles don't matter. They do matter and they do exist. And I feel like that's why we are out of alignment, is because we are trying to ignore the fact that there are roles that are designated for men and roles that are designated for women. We just have to acknowledge that. And we don't. And so that's how we find ourselves in these situations where the man does feel like he should be being the one that's being protected, and the woman should be out here, going out here and providing for him and taking care of him. And then you have women out here that feel like, they are supposed to be the masculine role. Dr. Boyce, I actually had women, and this is no lie, they told me they get in their feelings rather when their man is making more money than them. I said, what? They were married. They were married. And she said, oh no, I got to get me a second job because I'm used to being the one who, take care of the household and do this, that, and the other. And I'm just like, really, queen? Really? You got an attitude about it? She was straight upset. Like, no, my man ain't supposed to be, I take care of this household. I provide for these kids. I do that. And it's out of whack. And it's making our women, in a way, push away men. Because like you said, don't no real man, I'm gonna use that. A real man does not want a woman to take care of him. A real man does not want his woman to try to dominate him in that way and make him feel emasculated. No, a real man is not going to stick around for too long. And I feel like when it comes to being a good man, quote unquote, this nowadays being a good man means that you are able to be walked all over and you're able to be manipulated and just it's a mess out here. And it baffles me that we are in competition within our own homes. I feel like that's very destructive. We're not building together. And it's really like, well, I want a woman that's going to take care of me. Those for the weak man, though. A real man is not like that. He wants to provide for his family. And then we have these women out here that's like, you know what? I can get my own money. I don't need no man. And like I said, I classify myself as a strong, independent Black woman. But guess what? I never say I don't need my Black man. Never. We need to start getting back in alignment and stop making it a competition and stop degrading our men, stop degrading our women, and learn how to work and build together. Period, point blank. Know your role. Please learn your role. If you don't know your role, please learn it. Okay, women have certain roles and men have certain roles, and trying to mix and match the two, that's how you just have this recipe for disaster, and you have, broken households. You're ending up in divorce, your money and your finances all over the place because nobody has any structure. There's no security, and it's just messing up everything. And we're ultimately teaching our children the wrong roles and the wrong ways to be. And again, don't attack me and Dr. Boyce because we say it's roles out here. It is. Whether you want to acknowledge it or not, it is roles out here. And that story was a prime example. The geese, they knew their role. That's my woman. I'm going to protect her. I'm going to provide for her. The woman, the female goose, she knew her role. I have to nurture these babies. Again, like Dr. Boyce said, nobody taught these geese that. They just knew. It's in your DNA. It's in your blood. And we have to get back to that and stop listening to these damn feminists, y'all. Respect your Black man. Respect your Black woman. And let's raise some resilient, beautiful Black babies. That's all I got to say.
I think that was well said. And when you hit on that part about competition, I'm gonna tell you like this, and I like the way you qualified it with, a real man, and I do believe that real men are not just born, like you are made, like you make a decision in terms of what you're going to be as a man. You have to, decide that. And so, when I was raised by a real man, and I made a decision, like I'm a man, like, so you're not going to pump me just because I'm gonna be like, no, I'm a man. This shit ain't going to happen like this. And it's not, in a hostile way. It's in a way that just kind of says, I'm a man, like that's, and whatever that means to me, that's what it's going to mean to me. Now, I think in terms of the roles, what can occur, I think, is every relationship is unique in the sense that if you and your partner decide, okay, this is a role we're going to shift a little bit, or this is how we're going to get this thing done, I think that can be fine. But I agree with you. I think overall, there's a way things should proceed if you want a stable relationship.
Yes.
What I have found that happens is if you get with a real man and you really constantly competing with him, then what's going to happen is you're going to get a different energy from him. You're not going to get the protective energy. You're going to get the competitive energy. And that's when the testosterone rises. So you start competing with him, he's going to compete with you back, and he's going to see you like another dude.
Right.
Like, y'all going to be two dudes up in there just going at it.
We don't want that.
He don't feel no need to really nurture or protect you. He's not going to feel the need to commit to you. He might feel the need to come over and fuck you every now and then.
Right.
And then he's going to go home.
He's going to leave. That's why I say we push him away like that.
Right. Just little things like a woman having an inability to tell her man, you know, I love you and I need you, and it is really important for you to be here. Little things like that, just letting him know that she needs him. The inability to do that will make him walk away, because he's gonna be like, well, since you don't need me, I'm gonna go out here and I got 3 other girls I want to go hang out with, so I'll see you every Tuesday and that'll be it, right? You know, so men, I really will tell you, I really believe, you know, people joke, they say, oh, men are just dogs, and I'm like, well, some of that's actually a little bit true, in the sense that you know, men, I told my daughters, I believe that a man, you got to show a man how to treat you, and you have to understand that there's natures about him that you may not understand, and you have to respect that man the same way you want him to respect you as a woman. It's, if I run around, I say men should respect their women and learn how to talk to a woman in the right way, I'll get a lot of applause. Right. But if I say women should learn to respect their men and learn that there's a certain way you talk to a man, people are like, oh no, that's sexist. Like, how can you say that? She can say whatever she wants. No,
hypocrisy.
Right. There is a way to talk to a man. Seriously. And so you know, when I see, like, you know, if I see like a young woman who doesn't understand men that well, who's like berating her man and yelling at him and calling him all kinds of names and all that, I'm sitting there thinking, wow, it's only a matter of time before he finds a better woman and is out. He bounces. You know, like I saw that. I'm gonna tell you this true story. I'm gonna let you get the last word. Then we go because we can talk about this all day. I met this lady one time who was she was a little bit famous, you know, like an author, and you know, she'd written books and all that. And she had this boyfriend who was a former professional athlete. And so this black man it's interesting, right? He was so handsome that he would be on the cover of like he'd been on the cover of magazines as like a most eligible bachelor type of dude, right? Even I was like, wow, you know, and I don't even look at dudes like that. No homo, I know, right? That's weird. But I was like, it's like somebody like was chiseled perfectly. I was like, oh my God. And then it was weird because she wasn't that pretty, you know. So, but I kept these thoughts to myself. But here's the funny thing. I watched those two interact over like a 3-day period, because we had to go somewhere all as a group together. And she just would say all the wrong things to him and would yell at him in front of everybody and emasculate him consistently and dog him out, to the point where I went to the bathroom with some other men and we were like, did you see what she said to him? Woo, I would never let nobody say that to me. And he was so nice. He was a nice guy. You could tell he was raised to really be polite and respectful to women, and she was abusing that. She was an abuser, but she doesn't identify herself as an abuser because women don't identify when they're the abuser, because there's no term for that, right? But women can inflict emotional abuse on a man, just like a man can inflict emotional abuse on a woman. So I just watched this. And I told my friend, I said, they engaged, but they will never get married. I said, they're never going to get married. I said, because one day he's going to wake up and he's going to realize, wait a minute, I'm a man. You know, and she's right. Too far. And also he's going to realize, wait a minute, and I'm a damn handsome man. All these women I could be with who would worship the ground I walk on, and I'm sitting here letting your ugly ass yell and putting up with your bullshit. And just like clockwork, Danica, I kid you not, maybe I could call him. I could call it because a few months later, it was announced that the engagement was off. And I said, yep, see, I called my friend. I said, see, I told you it wasn't going to work, because you can't do that. You know, so that was a story that I was thinking about in terms of just, you know, I think that it just goes back to that basic idea of first of all, of just decency and respect to the person that you're with. They don't have to be with you. You know, they can easily walk away. If they're putting up with your shit, they're doing it out of grace, like, because out of respect for you. You don't abuse that privilege. But then number two, again, even a man who's like a little emasculated, You could beat up on him for a while and compete with him and get all macho and butch with him, but eventually he's going to do something that lets you down, because if you let him consistently know that you don't need him or he's not important or whatever, or you're trying to dominate him, eventually he's just going to walk away. He's not going to be interested anymore. I'll let you get the last word, Danielle.
That was very good of a point, because I honestly, and this is just me being real, when I got with my husband now, we've been together for 7 years, married for 2. And when I first got with him, I was that woman. Okay, I was that woman that was used to talking to men any kind of way, and you need to do this for me, and you need to do that for me, and just all kind of crap, right? Because that's what I'm used to my mom doing to her husband and her boyfriends and things like that. That's what I see women doing around me. And then when I was with my ex guy, I was actually engaged to be married, but I had to leave him alone because, again, he wasn't no man. Okay, but that's another story. But when I got with my husband, he was like, that ain't gonna fly. You need to check that. And it made me have to do some self-reflecting, especially as a Black woman that is used to being strong and opinionated and having attitudes and aggressive. And when you get with a Black king, he gonna check that ass real quick. And if you don't get it under control, you could potentially be losing a very good man. So that was something I had to take on the responsibility of, and just, check myself and allow a man to essentially just be a man. He is not your son. He is not your employee. He is not your servant, your slave. He is your king. Allow him to lead, and he will allow you to lead as well. It goes both ways. Relationships are all about reciprocation. And I feel like a lot of our relationships are one-sided. It's all about being a dictator. It's not even a relationship. It's a dictatorship. And I feel like that is the recipe, again, for a disaster. We have to get in the habit of, like you said in the beginning, knowing our roles and respecting the roles that we have, as well as respecting the roles of our significant others. Allow your man to lead when he needs to lead. Allow him to voice his opinion. Allow him to, check you a little bit, queens. Don't attack me, but sometimes we got to be checked a little bit so that we can get on the right path. Like you said, if we're in a relationship with this person, it's because we love them and we think that they love us back. So why not listen to that person? They're not going to be telling you stuff that is going to lead you astray. They're telling you this because they want you to become a better version of yourself. And so when my husband, he checked me in, those 7 years ago, I got my act together real quick. I evolved as a woman, but it all starts with being open enough, being able to cater, being able to receive, okay? Not just being so headstrong that you are trying to reject everything and you know best. Sometimes we don't know best. Sometimes we need somebody to steer us in the right direction. And that all comes back down to respecting each other, loving each other, and allowing each other, to be able to lead, and also knowing when to follow as well.
All right. Well, everybody, that was the great Danica Marie. She has a show called Danica Marie Dope Discussions, in which she talks about relationships a lot, and she discusses them in a very honest way. And you can actually find a lot of her content. You go to flynewbeingqueentv.com, or you follow Danica Marie on Facebook as well. She's out there. You're on Instagram, I assume, and all that good stuff too, Danica?
I'm sorry?
Are you also on Instagram and stuff like that?
I'm on Instagram, but don't go on there. Yeah, I'm off the chain on Instagram. Just keep it on Facebook.
Okay. So she's off the chain on Instagram, but which means that makes me want to follow the Instagram too.
Don't follow the Instagram. Instagram is off the chain, but
All right. So follow, so look her up. She's really good. D'_NIEKA, Danica Marie. And she's a flynewbeingqueentv.com. Also, it does a lot of really good content. Everybody, please hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button. If you guys like this kind of stuff and you want us to hit more topics like this, feel free to suggest topics for us to cover. Those of you on Facebook, you guys can just message me directly if you want to. Those on YouTube, you can leave comments in the chat, and we got people like Dual Victory who support the platform, who can find good topics. If you suggest topics or stories you'd want me to cover, we're covering stuff all day long, all the time. Our goal is to build strong Black media for the future, because Black people need to have our own message and have our own conversations about our own issues. And that's what we're doing. That's our mission. We're going to do this until the wheels fall off. So if you want to support intelligent Black media and help us expand, we would love to have you as a patron and a supporter. We give you lots of free stuff. So it's not a donation, it's an investment. Feel free to go to intelligentblackpeople.com. That's intelligentblackpeople.com. Also, I'm in Philadelphia, May 19th. If you'd like to come out in Philadelphia, you can go to drboycephiladelphia.com, drboycephiladelphia.com. Last but not least, we are on iTunes. So there we go. I got it all out. So go to iTunes, download us on iTunes and SoundCloud and all that stuff, because we're trying to build media and trying to reach as many people as possible. So, but only the Black people that want to be intelligent, only the Black people that want to grow. Everybody else, white folks can have them for a while. We'll come back and get them later. All right. Well, thank you so much, Danica. It was
thank you, Dr. Boyce, for having me. I appreciate this.
Absolutely, sister. I'll see you soon.
All right, peace.
All right, bye-bye.